Hi everyone, I'm Ellie, an author from Progress in Geography, and today we're going to be talking to the lead author, David Gardner, to find out a little bit more about Progress in Geography and how we're going to learn with it. So David, a massive welcome. And I suppose, first of all, we're all geography students. What is a geographer?
Hi, nice to be here. A geographer is someone who understands the world in which we live, both now and in the future. And there are three really important components to that. First of all, they need to have a really good locational knowledge of the world, where places are, and so on. They also need to understand what we call the big ideas of the subject, ideas like erosion, plate tectonics, urbanization, globalization, words you hear in the media all the time. In geography, you'll learn to understand what they mean and how they're interconnected. And we study geography through a process of inquiry. We investigate places. We ask geographical questions about those places in order to understand how places and people are interconnected.
And the book is called Progress in Geography. What do you mean by that?
Well, the book's been designed to support you through a process of progress towards the vision. And the vision is a flap on the book that you referred to on a regular basis that are the skills, knowledge and understanding that you need in order to be a geographer. So different lessons, different units of work all have responsibilities to support you in that progress towards becoming a geographer.
Brilliant. So students can use the vision statement throughout their learning to see how they're progressing in geography.
So you're clear at every stage what you've learnt and how it links to a bigger picture of understanding of the subject.
And I have my copy here as well. And I think one thing which is fantastic about the book is that it links to real people and real places the whole time. And that is through the kind of geographical data that is on every single page. So can you tell us a little bit about what the data students will use to understand the real world around us?
The geographical data is the most important part of each page in the book. So there are different sorts of maps, ordnance survey maps. There are satellite images, statistical information, newspaper articles, political cartoons, images of people with expressing different points of view. So we've tried to really provide a wide range of information and data for you to make sense of.
And one of the data you mentioned is OS maps, and there are these amazing flaps at the book at the start and the end. Why are there these flaps, and how will students use them in their learning?
We've carefully selected some particular maps that we provide full page in the book. Now, as well as those, there are also other Ordnance Survey maps at different scales that are integrated in the book. The reason why we've got these as flaps is that in order to use and reuse them in different lessons, because this is part of progress. So in the first unit, for example, you'll use a particular map flap to find out whether you can do 4 and 6 figure grid references. But a unit on coasts, you'll use those 4 and 6 figure grid references to describe and explain geographical patterns on the map. So you use the map progressively through the book.
Brilliant. And linking to that, how does each individual lesson work? You talked about inquiry before.
That's summarised on the back of the book, actually. So each lesson has an inquiry question that hopefully by the end of the lesson you'll be able to identify, and some learning objectives. And the lesson has been organised as a journey to take you towards that inquiry question. Each lesson provides geographical data on the page and some introductory and linked text, and then an activities box with questions to help you make sense of that geographical data. And each lesson usually ends with you being asked to answer the inquiry question.
So students are progressing through the book as they answer the inquiry question in each lesson. But the book is quite special. How does each lesson fit within the chapter, and then the chapters fit within the other chapters within the book?
Well, wider than an individual lesson, each unit has been organised to have an introductory lesson that has some overarching learning objectives for the whole unit. And a unit has 10 lessons. Each of those lessons are interconnected, that takes you on a journey to the overarching enquiry title for the whole unit of study. So the first unit, for instance, is called What is a Geographer? So by the end of the unit, it's hoped you have an understanding of what it is to be a geographer. And the final lesson of the 10 lessons is what we call a review lesson, where you're asked a series of questions, you're reminded of the introductory objectives for the unit, and now hopefully you've learnt them, and there are some activities to see and help you see what progress that you've made in that unit to understand what that particular unit topic is about.
Brilliant. So students will use the skills that they've learnt and the knowledge that they've gained to understand other chapters as well. Isn't it right that in the Russia chapter, students use skills and understanding from the weather and climate chapter to understand weather systems in Russia?
So all the units, and in fact all the lessons in the book, are interconnected and help you understand an unfolding story of the Earth and how the Earth is organised and patterns and processes in the Earth, to all support you towards that vision of what it is to be a geographer. Place-based units, so Russia, Africa, Asia, Middle East, these have a really important role because you are introduced to some big ideas and skills in other units, and they are then investigated within the context of that place.
Fantastic.